Hey, and welcome to Ascension with V, where we talk about spiritual awakening, ascension, and everything in between. I'm your host, Stashia Jeanette, aka V, and today we have a special guest who's about to take us on an amazing journey through their unique experiences. Ines, please introduce yourself and all that you do.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you for giving me the space to speak about my story, to talk about my story and what I do. So I am a multidimensional healer and a channeler, a subtle energy specialist. And basically what I do is accessing the other dimensions to help my people deprogram trauma, limiting beliefs and blocks, and everything that is there preventing them from reaching their full potential.
Okay.
This is just in a few words because there is so much to tell about what I do. It's so rich, it's so complex, but yeah, it's just a few words for now.
Okay, so now when you say multidimensional healing, for people who don't know, what does exactly that mean? What does that look like when you are doing this type of work?
Mm-hmm. Well, look like it's just basically depends if you are in person, the person is just laying in front of me, and if we are in online setting, we are just like we are doing me and you now talking. So this is what looks like, but actually there is a lot happening because well, let's start from the beginning. What does it mean, multidimensional healing? So we are multidimensional beings,
Correct.
right? So
Yes.
we are not existing only in this physical plane. We exist in an infinite layers, in the multiverse. No, it's not the
Yes.
universe.
Yes.
I like
Yes.
to call it multiverse.
Multiverse. Exactly.
So there is so many realities that we are living at the same time.
Yes.
And these realities hold keys to our evolution, keys to our healing that can really help us living a fully embodied life, a life where we fully embody our light, our power, our divine consciousness. So accessing these other realities means that I go to open your field. I go to investigate. I go to open your field and I go to see where the problem is, because normally the person that comes to me has, an issue or wants, face something, wants to resolve something mostly. So I go to look in the quantum field,
Right.
in the other dimensions, and I find where is the root of the problem.
Okay.
So I'm then calling in all the universal energies, calling in the higher selves. It's a very, very magical setting. We melt it. I like to say melt because normally I see it like a big nodes, because nodes of dark, I see them black.
Yes.
But all of us, we see it in different ways.
Differently.
We have our way to process as we are in a physical body. And so I see these nodes and then I go to just melt them. I just melt them and then the energy starts to flow again.
Okay.
It's a very, very simple process, really. It's nothing complicated. Once the energy starts to flow again, we have unrooted the trauma or the block or whatever they are complaining. And then we activate, because after taking away the density,
you need to put back.
We need to feel it.
Correct.
Because where there is void, and the natural laws, they don't like void.
Correct.
So we put in new fresh energy, and this new fresh energy can be an activation of their power or their gift, or it can be a recognition. For example, I have people that maybe they have issue in their arms or legs, and I find out that a part of their leg, for example, was missing. Because it happens, we lose parts of our energetic bodies and they go floating around in the universe sometimes, or stolen by like lower vibrational entities, or they get stuck in another dimension because of, parallel lifetimes happening. So we just need to reconnect them, and we reconnect the energetic body, the spiritual body, and they feel their leg again. For instance, I'm saying this because I had an example before with my client. So like it's so rich and so complex. Like I could stay hours talking about what can happen. And this may seem really woo-woo, Like,
Yeah.
really, but to some people, yes. To us, no.
Right.
To us,
Right.
but to some
Right.
people, yes.
Right.
But you see the results immediately in your physical life because that's
Right.
what people want at the end, you know? We want results. We want results to improve our life.
Correct.
So it's immediate because you've changed the blueprint, you've changed the matrix, you know, you've changed really the roots of the whole field. You have brought it to cosmic balance, cosmic
Right.
again. So that's what I do, and you know, there is also like a lot of spells to be undone. You know, people we carry ancestry, we carry, you know,
Ancestral curses. Yeah.
right? So there is curses to be undone. There is, you know, powers that we have inside us and they haven't been dormant. And you just need to do this. You know, it's a switch and you activate them again. Uh, I love it. You know, it's so rich.
Right.
So rich.
How did you discover that this was something that you were able to do, and how did you get to that process of knowing that that was something that you were able to do? Like, when did you experience your awakening, so to speak, and how did you discover your gifts?
It's a bit of a long story. I will
That's
try.
all right. We got time.
So in Egypt, everything
Okay.
happened in Egypt. I arrived there in 2011 during the Egyptian Revolution. So it was the year 2011 where it was the Arab Spring. So all the Arab countries started to do revolutions, basically, against dictatorship. And I used to be, and I still am, a photojournalist, photo and video journalist. And I remember I was in South Sudan covering the independence referendum. I remember looking at the news and all my colleagues were talking about Tahrir Square, which is the main square in Cairo, where everything happened. And I remember looking at the square on fire and I felt something in me, like, Ines, you need to go there.
Right.
And I was telling you before, earlier, I really love revolutions. I love big movements. I love to be
Yes.
history. And my heart said, okay, you have to be there. And after a few months, I could go because I was, you know, working in South Sudan and Uganda at that time. I met Egyptian people and they told me everything about the revolution. And I was like, the call was really strong. So I went back to Italy, where I am from, gathered all my stuff. I used to live in Rome at that time. I took all my stuff. I moved everything at my parents' place and I just left. I just
Wow.
one-way ticket and I decided I'm going to live in Egypt. It was my first time there. I knew nothing about it. I'm going. So
Wow.
yeah, it was just strong.
Right.
Very strong. And I arrived there and I do my stuff. I participate to the revolution and I knew nothing about ancient Egypt. As I said, it was just a boring subject in school. And I mean, it was really boring for me when I was a
Yes.
kid. You know,
Yes.
why do I have to learn all these things?
Why is this important? Yes.
I want to learn about other stuff.
Right.
Yeah, no, and I went to see the pyramid. I don't even remember if I went to see the pyramid. I have to be honest. I was always, you know, working and taking pictures and meeting
Right.
people, and I was feeling, you know, this revolutionary moment. It was really beautiful. And then one night, a friend of mine invited me to a healing circle,
Okay.
and I knew nothing, as I said, but I really love weird things. The weirder, the better. So I said, yes, of course.
Right.
I ended up in this healing circle, and she was an Egyptian, and she was doing healing work with ancient Egyptian deities.
Okay.
So the circle was like mind blowing for me. I started having visions, and from that moment, my life changed completely. It was just an explosion.
Right.
My brain got fried, literally. It was crazy. I had moments where I really detached from reality. I didn't know if I was going crazy or not. But
Yes. Yes.
I discovered at a later stage that it's normal because I was like feeling differently, seeing differently.
Yes.
It's like I remember now, I remember one day I was laying on my bed crying and my skin was literally on fire, and I was so scared.
Yes.
It was like itching, and I was like, what is going on?
Yes, the itching, the itching.
I was going on fire. I was like, no, I'm getting sick. I'm getting crazy.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
alone here. I'm far from my family. I'm alone. Who is ever going to believe me? And like,
Yes.
I was crazy.
Yes.
But I couldn't say no. I couldn't step back because it was so strong, and I liked it actually because it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see these beautiful beings in front of you, and they talk to you, and you hear voices, and you are like, oh my God, I'm hearing voices, and
Right.
it was like overwhelming, but really beautiful. And I started this really, really long healing journey for my own traumas and my own, and everything happened organically, really. I started hanging out with them in temples because I live like half an hour far from the pyramids. So I can just go and have a coffee there. And I used to, start hanging out with other Egyptians and foreigners as well, other healers. And we used to, just go to the temples and chill and do rituals. And I was really having like a blast, really. And it was hard and beautiful. And
At the same time.
yeah. And then one day my friend, she got sick and she had a panic attack. And I remember looking at her on the floor in total mess, and a voice told me, work on her. And I was like, what? But I started moving without even realizing, and I started putting my hands on her body, and I started, like working and doing, moving my hands literally, and I felt these voices telling me, this is what you are, this is who you are. And then it took me some time to process the whole thing.
Right.
It took me some time to even tell that to people. I could tell it to just a few of my friends because it was, scary.
Right.
And then I realized, okay, I can do things, and let's see what it is. And while I was healing my body and myself, I went through chronic illness. I went through really bad depression through my whole life. I had a lot of
Trauma.
of different things, of different kinds to store it was stored in my body, it was stored in my mind, in my emotional field. So I was healing myself, and while I was healing myself, I started thinking, okay, I can do this for people. Let me try. And I was trying with my friend. We were healing each other, and we were, doing, witches stuff, rituals with herbs and stuff. And then people started asking me, please help me please help me here. And it was just friends and friends of friends. And everybody was like very astonished by the power of what they were experiencing with me. And that's it. And the more I was doing it, and the more I could see and feel and sense and understand, and I had people teaching me. I started traveling, meeting healers from different traditions. So not only from Egypt, but also in Bali, for example. I met a traditional Balinese healer who took me literally in his house for 2 months and trained me daily with energy work. And I went to Greece, England. So everywhere I was going, everywhere I was learning something, healing myself, learning from people. And I started putting together my own technique, which now I can say it's not a technique. I say technique to make people understand better, but it's not a technique. It's just how I work.
It's
just how I function. It's my blue. It's the way I function every day. It's not just I do this when I'm with a client, or I do this because I'm just meditating 1 hour, and then no, it's just I'm like this all the time.
All the time. Right. It's just you.
It's just me. And it took me so long to really understand how multidimensional we are, and how we live in a place, in a world that is really beautiful and sometimes also scary. But you have so many spirits around you. You have so many different energies. Everything is
energy.
everything is energy, everything is
Yeah.
fluid. And once you
Yeah.
understand that, you can live in that way. And
Right.
and this is something that improves your life like crazy. Because if you, for example, an empathic person, as people who have like high sensitivity,
Yeah.
or people who actually had to survive traumatic environments, so they had to enhance their senses to see if they were in danger,
Yes.
that,
Yes.
So, but we tend, for example, to pick up on everything, so
Correct.
sometimes you feel the energy or the feeling that the person beside you has,
Exactly.
and you don't know it's not yours,
Not yours.
right?
Yes.
You think you are depressed, you think you have anxiety, you think you're sad, and then you make it yours, and then
Yes. But
become,
it's not.
but it's not. And if just people could understand this since they are kids, we would have like so many like more aware people,
Correct. Spiritually awakened.
and less pain, less less trauma, less pain,
Less depression.
and people with more confidence.
Yes.
So that brings a lot of lack of confidence, like
It does.
it brings a lot of like lack of empowering, and we don't want that. We want
Right.
where people are expressing who they are, expressing their
Exactly.
all the magic. So that's so important. That's what I do. That's what I do. It's a re-education. I love telling people, like showing people, because like how sensitive we are in reality, because
Correct.
a lot of us like close it because it's really scary.
It's too much. It's too right. Yeah.
But closing it, you lose power.
It's bad. Yeah. Exactly. It's kind of like speaking a language, use it or lose it. Like if you're not frequently speaking another language that you're learning and you don't speak it with somebody else, you lose that language.
Yes, I feel like you get dulled if
Yes.
it's you live like in a very like close,
Close.
and then you become at the mercy of dense emotions,
Correct.
because they are stronger,
Correct.
So I created this method that is called Meet Your Multidimensional Self project. It's not a method, it's a project where I re-educating people. I want to re-educate people to subtle energies, and to embrace their sensitivity. And I do also, one-on-one sessions. I do mentorship where we deprogrammed, blockages to their sensitivity, to their magic. And the more it's like you take off the dry branches.
Right. Pruning.
And the more you take off the dry branches, and the more you take off the density, and the more you open up to beauty, to power, to magic, to all the highest beings that are around us all the time.
Yeah.
So that
And
was, yeah.
that's a huge thing that a lot of people, I think, again, most people don't even know that that's something that they need to do, but there is a huge need for that to be done, especially in our world, in the spiritual community. There's like a huge need for the things that you offer that there, exactly. Because again, you have to trim away what no longer serves.
Yes. And the awareness is really important, because we don't know.
Right.
And we
Right.
count things, and they stay on our shoulder, and after a while you don't feel it anymore. It's just with the physical.
Right.
You're
Right.
carrying something for hours and you don't feel it anymore. And this happens for a lifetime. Can you imagine? What people are carrying, and especially after all the happenings in the last few years, with
Yes.
all the collective sense of fear, of manipulation, of anxiety and control, and people putting against each other. People were overwhelmed.
Yes.
Who was overwhelmed? We were.
Yes.
And we need to clear. For example, I think something I always advocate for is energy and spiritual hygiene.
Okay, yes, that exactly. Let's talk about that specifically right now. Tell me about that in detail. Tell me why it's important. Tell me why people need to know about it, and tell me how people can do it.
Oh, so why this is important? Well, I have been saying this for the last 20 minutes, maybe.
Yes.
it's important for our awareness, but not only, also to, for a more, flowing life, for more clarity also, because so what happens? We live in an environment that is full of frequencies, full of energies, and we are like subjected to these energies that come in our field and in our body, because it's not only the field, they come in our body as well. So we are literally bombarded, but it's not really even the term, because it's like connectedness, we are in a space, we are all connected. Everything is interacting. There is waves coming in and out, So if you're aware of the energies you have around, everything is much easier. And if you have density around you, if you have if you enter, for example, an environment where people are angry, let's make it simple.
Yeah.
And the energy is low and dense,
Yes.
which is not like this. I mean, from my perspective, a lot of for example, governmental offices, or trains, there is a lot of unprocessed energies around, and unprocessed grief and anger and, and sadness. And these things come on us, and they make us like a sort of, how can I say, fog or dust. Let's take it this, like some sort of, I see it's gray, like this,
like a smog.
Yeah, exactly, like a smog, and you don't know about it. People don't know, and they carry it, constantly. So the importance, and this, sorry, I started
No, you're fine.
And this makes us our vision unclear.
Correct.
It confuses us. It confuses our thoughts. It confuses our vision, our hearts. Our feelings, our senses. So it makes us confused. It makes us, as I said earlier, sad for no reason. So people get sick, and they go to the doctor and they get meds, or or they go to they start to be intoxicated with substances to dull the senses. While it's just a matter of energy hygiene, it's a matter of cleansing. They teach us to have showers. They teach us to brush our teeth when we're kids, no? But they don't teach us to wash our energies.
Our energy.
It's not as important as the body.
Right.
This is something that should be taught in school, really.
Correct.
When you are a kid, really. And I would love to do that, by the way.
Yes, you will. You will.
Yeah.
Just so you know, spoiler alert, you will.
So yeah, so that's extremely important for the society as well. It's not only for the single person, for the individual.
Right.
It's for society, because if your energy is clean, your frequency is higher.
It's higher.
And this is not a new age thing. It's like physics. It's like quantum physics.
Yes.
The dense energy is low, heavy. High energy is, is fast energy, let's say. It's a wave that goes fast. So you bring your light in the place where you go, and this shifts immediately the place, and shifts immediately the atmosphere and the mood of the people. So this way, you really change society. You create a society where there is harmony.
Right.
Because harmony is so important.
So important.
Peace. There is acceptance. Because there is responsibility, self-responsibility. It's imperative at this stage of the evolution of the human being. I feel it's imperative to know that.
Yes.
Then it's up to the journey that the person has chosen in this earth to apply it or not, or to apply it more or not. For example, me, I do. It's an everyday thing, twice a day.
Yes. Same.
Because sometimes I don't do it because I feel, I'm clean, it's fine. Sometimes I feel more,
Right.
Other people just don't, it's not in their path. Okay, it's not a problem.
Right.
But at least we go around not as like charged people with a lot of energy that is like interference.
Right.
We go around as clean channels.
Yeah.
We go around as clean channels for flow, for ease.
Yes.
For love.
Yeah.
For everything, for harmony, for like you walk in another way, you look at the earth in another way. Really.
Yes. How do you? What's an example, or like if people don't know, what's an example of keeping good energetic hygiene, and how would they do it?
Okay, so there is many different layers. So there is the energetic hygiene for environments, okay, which is cleansing your home or your space of work regularly, because you clean, you normally clean the dishes.
Right.
Right. You clean also the energy, and this can be done in many different ways. From the very well-known salts, like, people put like jars or, little things of salt in the corner of the house, or
Right.
when you feel it's needed, and this, that you develop it just connecting, because it's just a matter of wanting it. Once you put the intention in the field, then your life will show you ways to improve your senses.
Right.
You start feeling where you need the salt, especially, when you just move in a place,
Exactly. Right.
or when you have people people come in your space, you feel you need to clean sometimes. So you put maybe salt attracts energies, like suck away. Sorry, I'm losing the English in this moment, but the dense energy is being taken by the salt.
Yes.
So, and you can leave it for 1, 2, 3 days, as much as you feel to leave it. Then there is the traditional, for example, traditional tools like Palo Santo incense or sage, of course, which I believe they are really important and really valuable tools, but sometimes are not enough, especially when it comes to our energy. And then I'm going there in a bit, in a moment. But what I do, for example, is calling in different kind of lights and different frequencies of light. For example, ultraviolet light.
Ultraviolet. Yes.
So ultraviolet light is something that is also in the physical. If you have ultraviolet light scanners, it cleanses dense entities that cannot survive with ultraviolet light.
Okay.
If you cannot buy a device, because there is devices nowadays that people that do sacred electronic tools, they are creating it. But if you cannot use it, if you can't buy, I don't have it. I call in the light.
Okay.
I literally call in the light. I sit a little bit in meditation, even if I'm relaxing on the couch, I breathe a little bit, I get into my body, and I call it ultraviolet light. And this ultraviolet light can be just passed through the whole house, through all the rooms, the walls, the objects. And this is a really, really, really strong tool to cleanse the space from
The
energy
area
that are in the building, because they come inside, from the external world. And any different other kind of light, like golden light from the great central sun, from the heavens, the way you want to call it. You bring it down, and you bring down this high frequency, pure golden light.
Golden light. Yeah.
And you make it into your walls, into the objects, and it's like a grid that goes down and like permeates everything.
Encompasses the house.
Yes, encompasses the house, and that can be used to shield also the house.
Okay.
What else? And then also being really careful on how you put objects in the house, because energy needs to flow.
Right.
So also decluttering, moving things around from time to time, and putting, stones, crystals, cleansing, and what else? And also herbs like cloves, lavender, incense, frankincense, all this, Mother Nature gave us so many tools.
Right.
That we can use. So it really is a practice. And when someone wants to start this journey, you just need to ask, literally, ask your higher self, your guides, God, the universe, to show you ways, and trust that you will receive the right tools that you need in that moment. Because that's what happened for
Yes. Yes.
And so the environment, and it's really important to me actually, also to protect the space. So I use symbols, like I use the Ankh, the key of life, the Egyptian, which is really powerful, by the way. For protection, I use the pentacle, the sword of Michael.
Yes.
Calling in highest and purest frequencies, light.
Yes.
Because that's the secret. You create an environment where you automatically cleanse when you get in.
When you get, exactly.
Yes. So
Yeah.
you don't have to stay older because it doesn't have to be an obsession, you know, it doesn't have to
Right.
be for fear. It just happens organically. So these
Right.
are little tips. And physically, well, physically it's another story. It's a whole journey, really.
Yeah.
It's a whole journey of many different things, which is deprogramming trauma from your body, and you need other people to do that at the beginning, at least. But you can
Right.
also learn and find your own tools. But I
Right.
always believe that healers need healers.
Yes.
You know, we need each other.
Yes.
I have my own people that I go to. I mean,
Yes.
I do things by myself, yes, but having support, we are a net, you know.
Yes. Yes. Having your tribe, your soul family around you that can help you in your process and your healing, and vice versa.
Yeah,
Very key.
supposed to do this alone.
No.
Never. We're not supposed to.
No. Not at all.
Ask for support for healers that you trust and that can start deprogramming the deepest things. Because if you have density in your body, you attract more density because your frequency is slow. So
Right.
if your frequency is low, of course you will attract slower emotions, slower energies. But the more you heal and the more your frequency get faster,
Yes.
the less you attract these entities, these energies, and the less they get on you, because they love the energy of the human being parasites. These entities, they love our energy, you know, and they love free rides. So
Right.
they get attached a lot. And then what else? But there is another level, which is using again lights of different frequency. For example, the golden light again can be you can breathe in golden light
Right.
and breathe out density.
Yes.
And you do this for each of your body. So, for example, you start with the physical body, you breathe in light in your organs, in your blood, in your bones, in your head, in your eyes, in your ears. A lot of people don't pay attention to the ears. The ears are really important because words get stuck inside.
Correct. Correct.
So you breathe in light from the universe, the light of the stars, the light of the air of Mother Earth, the light of the angels. You choose, really.
Right.
You breathe it in and then you release it with a big breath out. And you imagine seeing smoke going out. And
Out.
yeah, right. And you tell your consciousness of your body, I give you permission to release. Because you can
Okay.
imagine how much we
Hold
tend
it in.
to
You
hold. This is how the body is. I don't know why. I still have to understand why, but the human body likes to hold.
hold. Yes.
We go around with our bags.
Yes. Literally just carrying around stuff. And it is, yes. And it sounds so much easy. It sounds easy to just be like, just let it go. It's like, it's not. It's not.
They get stuck there. So
Yeah.
breathing in golden light and really going deep in the light, you know, feeling seeing the fractals, seeing the different kind of colors that can come, and breathing it in and in your body first, then in your emotional body, because a lot of emotions of other people can get stuck. So you
Right.
want to leave it in your mental body, and then, in your energetic body, and in all layers and dimensions, across time, dimension, space, and reality, because we are multidimensional beings. There is many versions of us all around the universe.
Right.
So it's important to always refer to all our versions. So yeah, so this is another tip, and it's beautiful. You just sit on your couch or in your bed before sleeping, or in the morning, you just do some breathing of golden light.
Okay.
And breathing out, or ultraviolet light, you call it in, and you just see like a scan in your
Going
body,
down.
or blue light as well. I love working with Archangel Michael, and
Same.
his light is amazing. Blue light and
Yes.
word of light.
Yes.
That can be used to cleanse your field and seal your field also, because sealing our field is also important. Not shielding, because this is a bit controversial for me. Sealing.
Okay. Okay. So tell me the difference between sealing and shielding.
Oh, well, sealing your, it's like you have something that it's a little bit, not broken. I don't want to say broken. I don't have, like a little bit fragmented, because this happens.
Yes.
You know, our field gets fragmented, and you just make it nice and full, because this is where we are supposed to be. Shielding is something that, for me, is controversial, because it's important to protect ourselves, yes.
Right.
But I don't like it to be a thing. And meaning that a lot of people are, you need to shield yourself. You need to shield yourself. You need to yeah, but this way you end up going around, you know, fully shielded, you know, like a knight.
Yeah.
You know, ready for war. And this has an implication that the place you are going into is negative.
It's dangerous. Right.
It's dangerous, you know, and this puts you in a vibration that, for me, is not the best.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be done out of fear. It has to be done out of love.
Right.
It can be done like you put your coat when it's cold outside.
Right.
You know, because of course I'm not going to, especially me, I still work as a journalist. I went to Rafah at the border with Gaza. Obviously, I'm not going there all open, you know, like, you know, a sponge.
Right. That.
Of course, to protect myself. Of course, I call my guides and I tell them, hey guys, take care, please, of my energy, because I'm working, and, you know, of course, but it doesn't have to be done in an obsessive way and with fear, because otherwise you access the higher planes,
Right.
you know, with those shields on you, and, you know, the frequency you emit is not the clearest, in my opinion, you know.
Right.
So this shielding thing, it's like a little bit, you know, to be.
It's like,
To be cautionally.
Cautionally, yes.
So that's it. And then, you know, the classical things like salt bath and, you know, being in nature. Although I always say Palo Santo, incense, being in nature, walking bare feet, they're all really important. Yes, I would never say no, but they're not enough. It's really important for us to really start working with these energies, because the more we go forward with this in this evolutionary journey, the more the higher beings want to contact us. I have received really orders like, Ines, you need to do this. You need to connect. You need to tell people they have guides around them. You need to tell people we can connect with them. We need to, they were showing me, you know, like a lot of light coming from up and from also down, but, you know, connecting and, you know, connecting people in the physical form.
Right.
So ask to your guides, ask your higher self, and trust that you will receive what you need, and clean yourself and ask for help to other healers. And the more you do this, the more your antenna becomes, you know, perfect, and you understand, and you arrive at a point where, for example, 2 days ago, I was working in my friend's kitchen. He asked me for help. I love cooking. There were people there, and at some point I was doing things and I started feeling sad. You know, and I was like, why am I sad? I'm fine today. Why am I sad? And then I started feeling, okay, where is this sadness? It was in my stomach. And I went down there and I found that it was not my sadness.
That's not you. Yeah.
On someone else's sadness. And can you imagine if I was not a self-aware person? I would have been sad.
Exactly.
For the whole day, probably.
Right.
You know, and I would have, you know, destroyed the beautiful day.
Right.
So yeah, the more you do it, the more you see immediately when something is off.
Yeah, this is not mine. Exactly.
Yeah, something is off, you see it. Yes. Energy doesn't lie. Even when you talk with people, you know, energy never lies.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I guess I gave just a very big overview. I mean, there is more, of course, but
right. But it's super helpful, again, for those who don't know about, you know, essentially what cleansing is, why it's important, and things of that nature. I mean, these are the need to know things that, again, a lot of people, even some people within the spiritual community, don't know all the ins and outs, right? And it's very much like you said, there's a need for the healers to have healers, because we don't all have the pieces to the puzzle, and we're just, you know, putting in, oh, you know this, and oh, okay, well, I know this, and it's helpful to have that information exchange.
Absolutely.
So tell me, I want to kind of switch lanes for this last part of the episode, but I wanted to talk about, I know you work frequently with like the dark feminine.
Yes.
And so I wanted to talk about real quick, what is the dark feminine and how does it help to gain strength and courage for leadership? And also, why does the dark feminine get labeled in such a negative way? And what are some of the misconceptions that you could possibly clear up for us?
Mhm. Okay, so this is another wide topic.
Yes.
The dark feminine, how can I say it? So the dark feminine is that part of us, of our subconscious, that hasn't been discovered yet. And it's that part of us that we haven't shed light on. So it's like something that we still have to investigate, but
Right.
it's there, and it
Exactly.
will prevent us from our full expression, or from our the feminine expression, the divine feminine expression. So it's basically, when people ask me what is the dark feminine, I see a big pot, like a cauldron, that is
Right.
there in the darkness, in the corner, and it hasn't been explored yet, but it's inside us. And
Right.
working with the dark feminine enables us to go there in that corner, open the cauldron, and see what's inside.
Okay.
What's inside can be scary because there is a lot of unprocessed emotions. Again, there is a lot of fear and rage and pain and patriarchal oppression and sexual trauma.
Yeah.
That women carry.
Yes.
So it can be scary. But the dark feminine also gives us the strength to face it and gives us the tools to face.
Right.
So there is the dark goddess, which is this darkness that is inside us. And be mindful, as I wrote recently on social media, darkness is not evil. We are talking about
Right.
a darkness that is creation, a darkness
Right.
that is fertility. So it's a darkness, the darkness of our womb.
Right.
It's the darkness of the earth, because when you plant a seed,
It's in the dark.
it's dark. Because if you leave
Right.
the seed under the sun at the beginning, it will not grow,
Correct.
right? So it's the darkness of the universe, because they say
Yes.
the universe was created from darkness, or
From chaos.
from chaos. I know darkness. I mean, they have many different stories.
Right.
I see this darkness, and then there is light, no? They say.
Right.
So, this dark goddess is our mother, is our primordial mother, and it envelopes us, and it puts us in this darkness that is safe.
Right.
It's a place of investigation, inner investigation, and
Yes.
a place where you can create your life. Really, you can create your consciousness. You can create what you really want from life, what you really want from your psyche, what you really want from your feminine.
Right.
So it's just a place of really like peace. When I talk about it, I feel like this peace, this like introverted peace. And there is many different, and now we are going to the why. So why this is seen in a bad way, because there is many different dark goddesses that have been demonized by cultures through the years, through the centuries. For example, the most demonized by Catholics, Mary Magdalene. The most demonized by, again, Christians, sorry, Lilith.
Right.
Or Kali, which is very feared, and people don't like Kali because they perceive her as destructive, which
Right.
she is in some ways, but she's not, she's not evil. So it's a representation of this feminine power that has been demonized through the years, and it's like being described as dangerous, as full of rage, as out of control and destructive.
Right.
So this work is a reclamation of our power, is a reclamation of the feminine power because even men have the feminine inside
Have
them.
it. Exactly.
And also men have the dark feminine.
Right.
So we do it as women. Normally I work in women's circles, but even men have it, as we have the dark masculine inside us.
Exactly.
So like normally the collective consciousness perceive these goddesses, these deities, as really scary and really dangerous and evil, but they are not. They are not at all. They are just fierce, and they're just, fearless. And in the case, for example, of Sekhmet, who is beside me here,
Yes.
she wanted to be seen because she's one of the energies that worked for longer. And Sekhmet,
She knew I was going to ask about this. She knew.
see, I didn't, but she did. So Sekhmet is the Egyptian native, because she's like the gods and goddesses of Egypt. They are actually naters, which is forces of nature, forces of the universe. She was used by pharaohs. Her head was used by pharaohs on during war, to scare, to frighten their enemies. So they say the traditional archaeology say that she is the goddess of war and destruction, and she's really scary. She has like names like she who dances with blood, which is a beautiful name in my opinion, but still, and she's really feared because why? Because she destroys.
Right.
Sweet at all. She has fire. She's like, she can be scary if your heart is not clean,
Correct. Right.
Yes, and that's what they used to say, the ancient Egyptians, and then if your heart is not clean and you meet Sekhmet, you're not so good.
Right.
But she's so loving at the same time, and for the people who work with her in integrity, she just take off what people don't need anymore.
Yeah.
She just deletes, and she makes blank page, and she creates fertile ground for us to build on another, in another way, in a strongest way, with new foundations. So, and this is the case also of Kali. They say, she's full of rage, she destroys. When I go to India, there is just a few temples, Kali temples, and people and Indians are scared sometimes. And when I say I love Kali, and they were like, it's they're feared, because they shed light in parts of the feminine, of the collective feminine as well, that have been suppressed because they didn't like it, because they are uncontrollable, they are powerful, and that's what they don't want us to be,
Exactly.
and powerful.
That and it would you say that they've gotten this label because the insecurity around having strong, powerful women and goddesses in general, it's just something that the general, and I hate to say it this way, the general male populace, I mean, even back then, were not ready to accept. That was not something that they were a fan of.
I agree with you. It's not about men only, it's about system.
His system, exactly.
It's more, I don't want to, demonize men.
No.
Patriarchy hurts women, but hurts men as well.
Exactly.
So it's more about the system, it's more about, religions and
the oppression,
governments, and the oppression, because the feminine power is being oppressed in women, but it's being oppressed in men as well. And
exactly.
It's in nature as well,
Exactly.
It's a cosmic movement.
Yes.
So yeah, then another thing that I don't want to forget to say is that the dark goddess and the dark goddesses and the dark feminine helps us processing.
Yes.
This is really, really important, because processing in a correct way our dense emotions gives us the power of transforming our dense emotions into creativity.
Yes.
It's you shift completely.
Exactly. Alchemize it.
Alchemize it. Yes, that's the word. And you find power in it, and magic, because working with these energies is really magic. It's like pure beauty.
work with or balance their dark and light aspect?
I believe the first thing that people can do to balance is to accept
Yeah.
the darkness
Yeah.
and look at it.
And look at it. Yes.
Yes. I believe this is the first step to balance darkness and light. Look at it, face it, accept it with love, and then it's already starting to happen. It's already
Right.
starting to shift
Right.
once you look at it and once you see it. And then again, we can use all the tools we want, and we are made differently, each of us, and
Right.
we can use all our tools. But ultimately, it's our higher self, it's our soul that tells us how, you
Yes.
know, and I feel this is my go-to for everything, and sometimes I don't even need to ask. I just do things, and then because I get guided to,
Yes.
dance.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy. It's really easy. You don't need to do like really complicated rituals. No, sometimes
No.
move the body and dance, and you alchemize. And here it is, your darkness that's just coming out and
Yeah.
and starts flowing, and
Yes.
then pulling in light to fill
Yes.
it. And it's a balance. And without darkness, there is no light.
Correct.
So it's a game of balance.
Balance.
Mm.
Yes.
It's
And
a
I think that's something also that, again, even like I work with a lot of men frequently, that it's scary to them to accept, as you were mentioning earlier, to accept their sensitivity, their ability to feel. And so they overly close it off,
yes.
and like overly close it off. And then I think you also mentioned, they have that dark masculine aspect where it's just like trying to be like almost
Yes.
overly masculine, where it's like, I feel nothing, and
Mhm.
it's just it's a thing that I've had to frequently say, where it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to be able to feel, and you have to have both of those things. You have to have both your dark and your light. Like you have to honor those things. And it's super important, as you said, to have that balance of both the light and the dark aspects.
Yes. And while you were talking, came me to say, like, beware of people that never get angry, like the spiritual people that, like, refrain. We're humans, that
Right.
we go through our healing process, but we're still humans. We still get angry. We still, we still have pain. I mean, it's impossible, in my opinion, not impossible, but, very demanding of us to arrive and I don't want to be angry anymore. No, you will be.
You will be. Yes.
I get angry, I'm a lot
Yes. Yes.
triggered.
Yes. At all times. Like there's
Like, love and light.
yes, that yes. There's no way. Like I know people say that all the time. Like, I'm always happy. Like,
Yeah, it's really happy for you. Maybe there is people who can do it. I'm not saying it's wrong, and I'm
right,
not.
right, exactly. Like, all right, well, how come? How? Like, that's well, good for you if you are. But like, I get angry.
And you will still have so much to heal and to bring out, and the
Yeah.
important thing is, to know how to process it, to know how to release it or accept it, because it's just
Yes.
embracing. It's not only about deprogramming; it's about embracing as well.
Yes.
It's a dance again, a dance
Yeah.
between light and dark, between feminine and masculine, and between dark masculine, light masculine, dark feminine,
Yes.
light feminine.
Right. Amen.
It's full of beautiful flow of things.
Yes.
And one thing that's really important, I feel, to say, I'm not saying this that darkness is not evil. I'm not bypassing at all the
Correct.
evil, because
That's there.
it's there.
Right.
The spiritual warfare, in my perception and in my reality, is true. It's real.
It's very real.
You know, and there is dark entities, what we call dark entities. That's, you know, and they are doing things, you know, keep humanity, you know,
Suppressed.
and but this is another kind, you know,
Correct.
kind of darkness, because I don't want people say that I'm denying, you know,
Yeah, right. You're right.
because unfortunately it's still very much out there.
A thing. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been amazing. If you don't have anything else, this was amazing. And I think it was something that shed a whole lot of light on some really important topics and a lot of questions that I think even people within the spiritual community had and may not have known. And you've provided a lot of those puzzle pieces to this grander, bigger puzzle that we're, you know, within the spiritual world and especially in the world in general. So I want to thank you for coming here, sharing your energy, sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, and your gifts with us. And Sekhmet, thank you for showing up and being there as well. And all the things. If there anything else that you want to add?
No, I just want to thank you. I'm really happy we connected. I'm really happy having this conversation. Thank you for giving me the space. Really, I love talking about these things.
Of course.
Really happy it was useful.
Yes, same as well.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.